Chào các bạn, tôi tên là Vince Huấn. Welcome to Vietnamese for the Vietnamese diaspora. The reason why I decided to create this channel is because a large portion of the Yi Kieu, or the Vietnamese diaspora, struggle with the Vietnamese language. I see on social media that a lot of them can speak Vietnamese, but can't read nor write in Vietnamese. Largely due to the fall of Saigon, Southern Vietnamese is more commonly spoken in the United States. However, a majority of Vietnamese language learning resources are conducted in the northern accent, so this creates the problem of unequal distribution of language learning resources, which further prevents the Yi Kieu from learning to speak, read, or write in Vietnamese. I also noticed the lack of resources aimed towards teaching the Southwest and Central accent. While you may find some YouTube channels or online teachers teaching the Southern accent, you'll find very few people who can thoroughly explain the Southwest accent. For example, one content creator that I know of is Han Academy on TikTok, who posts about the Southwest accent. But as for the Central accent, I haven't seen any language learning resources online regarding this region of Vietnam. Another problem is the lack of free in-depth resources. For example, a book I purchased called Vietnamese for Beginners by Jake Catlett cost me nearly $50. A CD also sells with the book, but that was an additional $60 at the time. I wasn't in a position to spend that much money, so I had to study without the CD. Eventually, when I was dedicated enough to my studies, I decided to join a Vietnamese class. I signed up for a class with TVO or Tiếng Việt ơi, where my teacher Phượng Anh complimented my pronunciation and couldn't believe that I learned it on my own. Though the problem with language classes that other people may relate to is the financial struggle. 1 month of classes cost me about $300, and of course, not many people are able to or are willing to spend that much money on this type of education. So, with that said, I want to create a free and easy to understand YouTube channel that also makes a clear differentiation between the different Vietnamese accents for those who want to learn how to read and write in Vietnamese. So you might be wondering who I am, and so my name is Vince Huấn, and I'm a current high school senior. This channel was created for my senior project, which is my graduation requirement. But don't think that I'm only doing this because I want to graduate. I'm doing this because I know that this could be helpful for many people in the Yi Kieu community or the Vietnamese diaspora. I'm a descendant of 2 refugees. My mother fled Managua, Nicaragua due to violence in her city, and I'm lucky but also very thankful that she taught me her language. My father fled Vietnam during the Vietnam War. He left Da Nang and eventually landed in California. He, however, did not teach me any Vietnamese. So a few years ago, I decided to learn the language on my own. I spent a lot of time researching the language and studying by myself. I am my parents' last child and also the only child who knows anything about the Vietnamese language. My culture and my heritage is very important to me, and I think that by passing down my knowledge, I'm helping not only my family's future, but also the Vietnamese diaspora's future as a whole. I hope my channel can be useful to you all. Thank you for listening, and I wish you well on your studies. Cảm ơn và hẹn gặp lại.
Phiên chợ nhìn thấy em vội bước qua